Hey everybody, how's it going? Alright, looks like the stream is now working. Hello, Mr. High Voltage. Hello, Emmerich, Traincraft, other people? Yes, you are, Leo. We are spoiling today. Thank you for your continued fight for right to repair. I spoke to 2 journalists today about it. One was mildly disappointing because she didn't want me to post the conversation. She actually asked me at the end of the Zoom call, by the way, you didn't record this, did you? And I said, no, I did. You're not uploading this to your channel, are you? And I said, well, I was going to. She goes, you can't do that. You can't do that. And it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, I have a recording just in case the interview that gets posted is out of context. But I record every one of my interviews that I do with every journalist just in case something gets written out of context. Hey, Lewis, how's it going? From unnamed person with someone in red hair in their avatar. Hello. How is it going? Lewis Rossmann for mayor. I don't think so. Can you please speak about how New York's vaccine mandate doesn't have a medical exemption? I don't know about it having a medical exemption. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't particularly care. It doesn't affect me because I don't plan to be enforcing it. I don't care if you have a medical exemption or not. You're welcome to come to my store. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not. You're welcome to come to my store. And as I said a few weeks ago, I stand by my assertion that de Blasio can gargle my balls. What's your favorite cartoon or superhero, says FK Daddy? My favorite cartoon, when it comes to by far, was Batman Beyond. That was such a dark cartoon. Like Season 1, Episode 5 with Mr. Freeze, the ending, the music they had for that ending, like I still get goosebumps listening to that, and it's been 20 years. Batman Beyond, by far. I was so pissed that they ended that at 3 seasons. That show needed like 30 seasons. Batman Beyond was sick. The production, the music, just how dark that story was. Like you had a villain realize that he was evil, get depressed, not want to live anymore, and then he killed himself on camera. I mean, like that's just insane. You didn't expect that from a Saturday morning cartoon in 1999. That was a little heavy for something that was on public. Again, this is not even cable or anything. This is normal. Plug a shitty antenna into your TV, public television, and that was available in 1999. That was crazy. Batman Beyond definitely did it. Can you give a shout out to your biggest fan, my wife Mimi? Hello, Mimi. I feel like Drew Carey now. Can we get Paul fixing a motherboard in the live channel tomorrow, please? I asked everybody at the store if they could do 1 board repair video a week, but the problem with that is that I haven't really enforced it, so it never really got done. But this week we are going to be teaching a class, so probably not. But the week after. I'm dreading that I have to explain to a cashier not all vaccination cards look the same in each country. Yeah, honestly, again, to be clear, I got vaccinated. I was happy to get vaccinated. I think it's a good thing to get vaccinated. If I walk into a place and they say, we need to see your card before you can walk in, it's like, bye-bye. I'm just like, I'm not doing that. Same thing with Steve. Like Steve, who works here, said, this moved to my first house, first poop in the toilet. It really feels different when it's a poop in your toilet. I remember the first poop I took. It was the first place I rented. I didn't even own yet, but the first poop that I took in my own place that wasn't my parents' was amazing. It was a quality poop, and it came out much better. It was one of those poops where it left nothing behind, so even when I put water on the toilet paper, a little dab of soap, wash up, there's nothing there to clean because it just came out perfect. It didn't even smell. I still remember that. Yeah, like even Steve said, if a place says, I need your vaccine card to enter, he got his vaccine. He just like, I'm not going in. It's just, that's a line he just doesn't want to deal with. I'm just not walking in your place. And I told him, these places are forced to enforce it. They're going to be inspecting it the same way that they were sending bullshit inspectors into us over other crap. And he's like, yeah, I feel bad about it, but I still can't. It just feels weird. I don't know. You know what I think that means? I think that means I'm close to convincing Steve to come with me to another state. And that would be one of the prerequisites. You start with the manager. I went to a repair shop to get my Pixel 3 repaired, just a loose connection. They told me they likely need to replace the screen too because it's fragile. Is this BS? Oh, you're going to hate my answer. I feel bad here. No, the only BS is blaming it on a loose connection. So there's three major lies. There's three major lies. What is it? Your check's in the mail. I promise I won't come in your mouth. I pay all my taxes, and it's just a loose connection and/or a cable. See, those are the four main lies. My dad told me the three as a kid. I'm adding the fourth. You're reading too many forums. Like, it's just a loose connection. It's just a cable. It's never the fucking cable, ever. And, like, honestly, we actually have a Fresh Desk article that is dedicated to this at the store. We have an article. When someone says it's just a connection to the cable, how do I deal with this so I don't get a 1-star review? Because nobody wants to fucking hear the $300 screen is the problem. They always want it to be a loose connection, because a loose connection means it's free, right? I mean, granted, the person who's coming into the store to ask this, of course, hasn't taken it apart. They haven't actually tried to fix the loose connection because they know it's not a loose connection. If it was, they wouldn't be here. Anyway, this is just a repair shop rant right here. I'm blowing off steam. I shouldn't be blowing off steam on you, but I have to explain. I used to have to explain this shit like 3 times a day, and as a customer service person, it fucking blew. I'm not good at that. But yeah, you asked me on a stream, not the store, so I can blow off some steam. You have no idea how it is to have a business in Brazil. You're writing your complaints, but here you would get a heart attack in the first month. I know somebody who does MacBook repair there. Shout out to Tiago Baracho if he's watching, and my apologies if I mispronounce your name. He does awesome MacBook repair. He's an amazing technician, and he's located in Brazil. I actually got to meet him when he visited New York. Yeah, I realized that there's some irony that one of the best performing videos in this channel was where it was a bent pin in the display cable. But, like, 99 out of 100 of the times that someone shows up to the store and says, I have a problem with a loose connection, it's just a loose connection, that is code. That is codified language for I want this repair to be free, and it's not a fucking loose connection. It's never a loose connection. Ever. Anytime somebody says that's a loose connection, you have water damage, you broke it, you dropped it, your screen is exploding, shit's falling off your board. It's always something other than the connection when someone says that. So I will actually side with the repair shop on that one, which is totally unfair because I haven't even seen your phone. I've just been told that enough times over 13 years to know that it's never the fucking loose connection. The only time it's a loose connection is when the customer is expecting an actual repair. When someone comes in and says, I have a loose connection, no. Or it's the cable. It's just the cable. No, it's not. It's your screen. But how can it be? It's the screen. You have a microfracture in the screen. But it works when I move back and forth. Okay, great. Here. I'll give you a cable. Here's a bench. Here's a chair. Here's a microscope. Here's a new fucking cable. Here's a screwdriver. I will let you put this in for free. You get the cable for free. Oh, you don't want to replace it. That's because you know it's not the cable. I've had that before. Because when people say I say, I'll give you this cable for free. You could plug it in. I don't know. I'm not being a customer service person right now. I'm being a live streamer that is streaming during what is supposed to be who's kind of salty because I'm supposed to be going jogging, but I can't because there's a hurricane outside. So I'm kind of taking it out on you, which is unfair. I probably shouldn't be taking it out on you. I shouldn't be taking it out on you, but I am. Everyone remember to take your vitamin D supplements as we get closer to the colder months. We can get less sun exposure. I don't think it's a bad idea to speak to your doctor to see if you're getting all your vitamins. Have a talk with your doctor. Make sure you're getting your vitamins. Make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're eating healthy. Not too much Arby's and Denny's. I went to Denny's when I was in Lumberton, North Carolina, and they actually had a sandwich there that was over 1,500 calories. It blew my mind that you could actually have a 1,500 calorie fucking sandwich. But they have that. I didn't know that existed until I went to a Denny's. But I went to a Denny's in Lumberton. Salute to the Venerable Louis Rossmann. Hello to Dr. Evil Genius. You should check him out at the Talking Shit podcast, which I can't give you a link to because it's... You need a name that's easier, man. You need a name that's easier for me because somebody's going to search for you on YouTube after I say that, and they're going to find like 90,000 other instances of someone saying that. But he has a podcast called the Talking Shit podcast. You should check it out. And thank you for the $4.99. Have you thought about moving to Las Vegas, 24-hour city with no income taxes? Honestly, the thing I liked a lot about I liked that in Las Vegas, the buildings were not dilapidated shit like New York. Here, you could just tell everything has this feel that like it was last maintained 100 years ago. It was built 120 years ago, and the last time someone fixed anything was 80 years ago. Las Vegas didn't have that feel, but at the end of the day, the area of Las Vegas that I was in was a tourist destination. So while I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the people that I met there, and they were very kind and nice to me, and things were lovely, you know, I'd have to visit the areas outside of the touristy section that I went to for that conference. Can you talk about how long you've been using the Logitech trackball and why it's the best mouse ever? I've been using this for 3 years. I have a really small desk at work, and I don't want to have to move the MacBook out of the way so that when I'm looking at a schematic, I can do this. So when I have a really tiny desk, I like that I don't have to move it. bit.ly/talking shit, and I will post it into the normal chat so people can see. All right. Walking into a place of business and them asking you for your vaccine card is like walking into a store and them asking if you have AIDS. Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Honestly, and again, I recognize that this is a really stupid area to draw the line. I should have drawn the line a long time ago with other things, and I didn't. But this is where the line was for me. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What? Can you watch the awkward interruption of BBC Radio dance for Prince Philip's death? I don't know who Prince Philip is. I don't follow princes, princesses, kings, or queens. I live in America. We don't have a king. We have a president. I don't know. I don't follow kings and queens and princes and princesses. Robust. Hello, Lewis. Happy to have the time to see you and had the time to come watch. Thank you, Rockford Media. It's good to see you around again. The check's in the mail, says Robert Hickey. You're wrong. People are idiots. People who do try to repair their own stuff tend to hand it to you in worse shape than those who didn't. Okay. Yeah, there's that too. Nah, bro, it's a loose connection. No, it's not. Have you ever done work on retro computers? Nope. What is your blood type? I don't know, but I should know in case I get shot one day. Do you think that there's any coming back from where we are politically in America? Next generation, honestly. I think never underestimate the ability for the next generation to laugh at how stupid this generation is. So I think the next generation is going to see how we are able to take virtually any issue in any area of the world. Thank you, Rockford. We're able to take any issue from any area of the world at any time in any topic or subject matter and immediately divide it into red team versus blue team. And I think the next generation, maybe, there's a chance that they look at that and go, man, that's fucking stupid. And they actually are able to think for themselves and not become ideologically possessed and not become tribalistic. I have hope for the next generation. I don't have hope for this generation. I read my YouTube comment section and I see how people are when I meet them in person. I don't think that this generation has a lot of hope. But the next one, I have faith for the next generation. Sam Cedar is a commie, says Jimmy from Philly Wiped. That's not really an argument. That's kind of lame. Name calling and also lame. I don't know if I would agree with him on a number of other political issues, but I may not. But like, you can do better than that. That's really kind of low effort in my opinion. That's fairly low effort. That's not cool. That's just low effort. Let's see. The guy listened to me. He listened, he asked decent questions, and he let me speak for 25 minutes. He didn't put words in my mouth. I'm happy. Never cheap out in your personal toilet. Money well spent. I definitely agree with you. I've learned more about New York with your bike rides than any travel show I've watched. Thanks. Yeah, I try to show the reality of it. Like, there's the Casey Neistat side of New York, and then there's just the reality of it, and I kind of like to show you the reality of it. Did you check that they're finally extending your car's extended foreskin? I actually got this pink notice in the mail that talked about my car's extended warranty. And a friend of mine who always tends to park illegally because he fucking gets away with it, I'm not going to say who, I had this... I got this notice, and they really made it look like something the police would give you. Final notice, warning, and all this other shit on it. I put in his windshield wiper. I got him good. I got him good. He looked at it, then he saw my name and address was on it. He's like, you fuck. But I got him good. It was funny. Is your apartment building haunted? It's haunted by a Hawaiian. I've had so many customers tell me it's an easy problem, and the reply is, if it's easy, how come you have not fixed it? You can't say that, because if you say that, you'll get a 1-star review. There's actually a script that I have for this, and it's worked pretty well. You think we should have an Internet Bill of Rights? The censorship in the last few years has been ridiculous. What would you put in this Internet Bill of Rights? Like, on one hand, I'm not a fan of censorship, but on the other hand, I'm also not a fan of forcing people to carry a message that they're disgusted by or disagree with. Part of the First Amendment is not just freedom of speech, it's also not forcing people to carry messages that they disagree with. Robust. 3D printing's relevance on right to repair. Thing. I think that there's not much relevance to it as a political cause or a social cause or an activist cause. There is a relevance to it when it comes to if you cannot get a part that you need, then it's nice to be able to 3D print it. So people who are experts in the world of 3D printing are able to help people that want to fix things, but I don't really know how to tie it into what it is that I'm doing on this channel in a manner that would make it worth your $2. I'm sorry. How much for a backlight fuse replacement? $4 million, Rodrigo. Anybody? What is your personal laptop PC? I have a falling apart P50. I don't know if it's because I have a Quadro and that just fundamentally doesn't work well with the video editing programs that I have, or a driver thing. When I hit play in DaVinci, it works, but when I go to with a Fairlight page for audio plugins, you can't even see the bars moving. It's that slow. It's like horrible. I was actually going to try. I was going to try booting it in Linux, but then when you use Linux, you can only use stock plugins because Linux 25 years in is still useless for audio production. Like nobody makes nobody makes like really competitive audio plugins for it. But like you can't see the bars moving. Like it's like one frame every 3 seconds kind of thing. And I got to figure that out later. But yeah, right now I use a P50. Are you subscribed to Lele Pons? I don't know who that is. Lewis is too Italian to be named Rossmann. My mother's name is Pomponio. My grandma was Antonina Pomponio, and that was Italian. My father was German, Hungarian, and El Salvadorian, so my father was Rossmann. And I think the Rossmann it was German. Have you looked at negative reactions to the vaccine before you got it? I have, and they were not really that scary because of the number of people that had them. So what I find interesting is when people say, you're a pussy for being afraid of a virus that has a 0.04% death rate, but that same group of people is afraid of a vaccine that has like a 0.000000003% adverse effect rate. Not even death rate, 0.000000003 adverse effect rate. It just... Have you scheduled Larry Sharp in your show yet? Word is he's excited. Fuck, I forgot because I went to Vegas this week. Son of a... Okay, one moment. I got to add that to my thing. So I'm teaching next week, and I went to Vegas this week, and Okay, thank you for reminding me. That actually slipped through the crack. I am very sorry, Missy. I apologize. I fucked up there because I actually really would love to have him on the show. Do you get flood insurance in case the power goes? Says Silver User. No, I just don't. I don't deal with scamming insurance anymore. Robust. I fucked up. He emailed me and he suggested 2 times, and those 2 times were times that I was in Vegas and teaching. I knew I was forgetting something because I didn't write that down. Literally the moment I'm done with this stream, I'm going to be getting Larry Sharp on here. What will America look like in 10 to 20 years? I have no idea. If I knew what it would look like in 10 to 20 years, then I would be able to become a millionaire in the stock market by investing in whatever it is it would look like. No clue. I'm not a determinist. I believe in free will. I'm also not a psychic, so I can't really tell what the future will bring. Why are you in New York? Because I have responsibilities. Do you eat meat? You do. How do you justify the slaughter of billions of animals trying to use account to fish for a momentary taste pleasure? It's not really a taste pleasure. I was a vegan from 2015 through 2020. Well, okay, vegetarian, veganish for 5 years, and it didn't not work for me. I mean, I was able, like, when I look at what I was able to lift in 2014 and 15 versus 18 and 19, I was able to get stronger as a vegan without eating meat. I didn't have to eat meat in order to be able to deadlift more, to bench press more, to run faster. Are you excited that Chodmo resigned? Yeah, but it's not really something that affects my life. It's one of those things where it's like, fuck you, this jackass is out of office and I'm done. I quit veganism around December of 2020 because I found that this is really just because I got lazy. I'll be honest, I just got lazy with it. That in order for me to in order for me to be able to work out and lift weights at the frequency that I wanted to, I had to eat a lot of either gluten or carbs, and it was bloating me like crazy. and I didn't want to be incredibly bloated, so I went back to something more closely representing like a kind of a keto-ish diet. I would be open to trying the vegan thing again, but I'd rather go into that with a nutritionist where I actually speak to them and I tell them what it is that I do. Here's and then I go into it from that way. But I wouldn't want to try going back to veganism with me just choosing shit like I'm gonna have 3 burritos today or anything like that. What is your opinion on male circumcision? I think it's genital mutilation and I don't support it. Have you ever considered doing an in-person workshop tour around the country for Right to Repair? What are your thoughts on this? Workshop tour. You mean like showing up at people's stores? I'm not doing it around the country, but I am going to be doing it in Massachusetts in the next 2 months. In the next 2 months, I have to do that in Massachusetts because we have a lobbying day in November, and I need to get as many people to show up as humanly possible. It is correct to be vegan, but you shouldn't chastise people for not being vegan. I tried to be the type of vegan for the 5 years that I was vegan that would not cause people to hate them with a reactionary fervor. I recognized that, and I honestly did not pick on anybody for not being vegan for the 5 years that I was, but I did have carnivores pick on me, or omnivores pick on me for being vegan. So for instance, I was standing in line at my favorite burrito place and I said, can I get, a tempeh burrito with jalapenos, no cheese or sour cream? And the person behind me went, oh, one of those. And then I turned around and I said, one of what? And then he smirks. I'm like, one of what? And it's like, you're being a little bitch. And I did not pick on anybody for what they ate. I didn't I didn't go on this channel and say you're evil if you don't eat the way I do. I did none of that shit. But I met many people that were triggered by my eating decisions, even though I was not projecting them to anybody but the fucking cashier that is taking my order for my burrito. And that was aggravating to me. But it is what it is. You have douchebags on both sides of the aisle. I personally, on the internet, I've seen way more douchebags on the vegan side of the aisle. But in my life, in real life, around me, there were way more douchebags on the omnivorous and carnivorous side of the aisle. I have never had a vegan or vegetarian in person give me shit for what I eat, but I have had people who were carnivorous or omnivores give me shit for what I eat when it was none of their business because all I was doing was speaking to the cashier and expressing that I don't want sour cream in my order. And honestly, even as a carnivore, sour cream is fucking disgusting, so I want nothing to do with it. I don't want sour cream in my burrito. It's fucking awful. Give me some hot sauce. Carrot habanero hot sauce, good. Sour cream, gross. Mark Winkleman funded $20. Thank you. Did you gamble while in Vegas? Not at a slot machine and not at a blackjack table. Headphones or speakers? Oh, speakers. Speakers. Speakers are how you know you're free. Speakers are how you know you're free. Vegans are insane. I think that's an overly general. Everybody speaks in overly general terms nowadays. Let's see. All these questions are important, but I don't care. How are the cats? He just jumped up right back here now. You ever make it up to Connecticut? I've been to Connecticut twice. I had to do a MacBook repair there, and back before I had a store, I actually used to do house calls. I would charge a $30 to $40 surcharge to travel to Connecticut, and I did 1 or 2 there, and that was it. I don't think I'd have an interest in Connecticut due to the it kind of had, I don't know, expensive property tax, check. Expensive housing, check. It's like, yeah, you have to convince me that a property tax of over 2% is worth it. You have to sell me. You have to actually sell me. If you want me to pay rent to the state indefinitely for the rest of my life for a property that I bought and it's expensive, you have to explain to me what it is that you offer that every other state doesn't offer that makes it worth the additional money. It's weird. It's one of the taxes that makes me very uncomfortable because it never goes away. Like income tax is there as long as you have income. Property tax is there even once you no longer have income because you no longer have a job or you no longer have a career or your skill set goes out of favor or you become disabled or whatever. It's one of those. So I'm very careful with that. And once it gets over the number 2, it is yeah. Dr. Evil Genius says to Dara H, do you ask other omnivorous or carnivorous animals the same question? He probably doesn't, but I have slightly higher standards for myself than I do for Mr. Clinton. And I don't want to offend you, Mr. Clinton. I love you. You're an excellent kitty, and you have been for 12 years. But I do hold myself to a mildly higher standard than you. Don't I, Mr. Clinton? And he's like, fuck you, asshole. Lewis, why do you hate vegans? I don't. Why do you troll? You asked a disingenuous question. GTFO. Next. Glad you're excited to have Larry Sharp, but good luck getting a libertarian elected. Oh, he's not. No, he already lost. He lost years ago. That's never going to happen. I just think it would be fun to ask some questions and... Yeah. Have you considered moving to Indiana? I accidentally drove my mom through Gary on the way to Chicago once. Don't GPS with avoid tolls. Scary. Yes, I did too. Waze rerouted me on the way to Wisconsin through Gary, Indiana. Fuck, that was a toll I should have paid. Like, again, there are some neighborhoods around me that are not exactly the best, and I don't give a shit. Like, I've walked through and I've rode my bike through Brownsville and East New York and all that. Like, I don't care. I've seen neighborhoods that don't look like your Orange County, California. But my God, like, you had houses in Gary and you had buildings that looked like someone just took a guillotine and just diagonally slashed off a side of the building. It was insane. Gary, Indiana is no joke. It's a selection issue. Quiet vegans don't bother people, and neither do quiet carnivores. Any tribe is known by its assholes. I definitely agree with that. Every tribe, any tribe, is typically known by its assholes, and that's unfortunate. Which vaccine did you take, and why did you pick it? The Pfizer and Moderna seem to be based on the same thing. Moderna seemed to have more, what was it? More of something, but I forget what it is. And the Johnson & Johnson seemed like BS because, the effectiveness rate of it was something like 50 or 60. I mean, that's like the chance of me picking a good... that's like the chance of me picking a stock that's going to profit. That's like a coin flip. So the Moderna one required 2 shots, not 1, but I thought it was worth it for the increased effectiveness. I know you're big on right to repair. How about right to data ownership? Getting rid of data bridge tolls that won't let users move their data. I don't know what you mean by a data bridge toll. What is a data bridge toll? Who is this guy? He must be paid by Gates. What the fuck? Okay, you go and get the fuck out of here. Next. Yes, I get paid by Bill Gates. That's why I'm wearing an Amazon polo shirt that costs $5. I literally couldn't afford to be vegan or vegetarian. Once I'm able to work again, I could try to eat healthier. Vegetarianism is actually dirt cheap. You get yourself some yams, some tofu, some broccoli. It's really cheap to make, and some of that amazing herbal salt that I don't have next to me. You can make yourself a really nice meal. Now, if you want to go to a fancy ass restaurant, or you want to go to some if you want to go to some hipster place to get a vegan meal, of course. But if you go to a hipster place, it doesn't matter what you're eating, you're going to get taken by the hipsters. But it's really affordable to eat. Get like rice and beans. That costs nothing, man. How do you not lose your mind every day with the world? I lost my mind a long time ago. What's wrong with Yoi? There's nothing wrong with Yoi. Yoi is lovely. Robust. Travelo gave $20 to Mr. Clinton. You know what, Mr. Clinton? I'm going to put that to the fund of all the shit in my apartment you broke. I'm going to take it, and I'm not going to give it to you. Where did you buy your recliner from? And is a lazy boy. Well, I'm finally going to become a little bit of an influencer here. So you want to know where I bought my recliner? Take an affiliate link, baby. Look at this. Yeah, that's right. I'm learning how to shill. I can't believe it took me this long to learn how to shill. But people have been asking me what chair this is for a while, so I just put it in the chat. That's right. Sponsored. Look at that. Robust. Love your videos and your skills. I've been component level repair and building since the 70s. I love how Radio Shack gave the full schematics. It's sad that Radio Shack then turned into a glorified cell phone store that then went out of business. They had all sorts of cool shit that you could buy at Radio Shack when I was a kid. Sour cream is great. WTF, Lewis. Incorrect. Do you think carnivorous people are just as toxic? I mean, I think anybody that is an asshole about that stuff is toxic in general. Next. Robust. An inspiration, keep fighting the good fight. You have my support. Thank you, J-Mo. Hopefully we win together. I'm not fighting. We are fighting. It's not me It's not I. It's we. We! One man can't do shit. I can't do a damn thing. It's we. Can we see your setup? What do you mean? What setup? Chair? Keyboard? Kitty. Your opinion on opening business LLC SPA. Okay, see, now you're going to make me Google an acronym. Why would you do that? Lil SPA. SPA? I would ask a CPA, honestly. Because a lot of people assume that an LLC is the best way to open a business, and it's not. I don't want to get into all the reasons that it's not here. There are certain things that I just prefer to keep confidential. But I would highly suggest that you speak with a qualified CPA that has experience dealing with many different types of businesses and figure out what works for you based on your projected revenue and what you're doing. But an LLC is not always the way to go. Someone says OMG Clinton. Robert is in the chat. Hello. Hello, Wolf Girl. Are there any good books in the fundamentals of right to repair? I have not written a book, and I don't know anybody else that's written a book on this. What's your opinion on the Framework laptop? I think that what's up with Gary, Indiana? I'm oblivious. Gary, Indiana is a town that looks, when I drove through it, it looks like a war happened there in 1989, and they haven't rebuilt anything, and everybody just kind of got up and left it as it was. You ever see that TV show on CBS called Jericho? It kind of reminds me of the TV show Jericho. It's an old steel town, and this, when the steel production left, the people were stuck behind, and the opportunity kind of left with it. And now, when you drive through it, it's kind of sad. The Framework laptop, I like the fact that the company is open to sharing schematics and diagrams with repair shops. I like that they're trying to make something repairable. And I really hope they make a lot of money, because they need to make a lot of money in order to make more competitive products so that they can offer things that are spec for spec competitive with companies like Dell or Lenovo, or even just that they could offer something like a more workstation class CPU, a dedicated graphics chip. They need that laptop to do well in order to be able to branch out. So I hope that they do very well so that they can branch out and making more devices that more people can buy. What's your opinion on Apple keeping non-stolen devices locked? I see it as a big issue. Well, how do you know if it is stolen or not? I mean, I think obviously it's going to benefit them, and it's one of those areas where we can say we care about stopping crime by keeping more devices as wasted. Does it really stop crime? Does it really stop people from stealing? Does your average thief think to himself before he robs someone, like does your average subway thief that holds someone up with a knife that's about to rob them go, you know what, I shouldn't do that because I was educated on what iCloud does? I don't think that happens. I guess Lewis isn't going to buy greenies with that 20. No, he can't get a greenie. Should I give Clinton a greenie on stream, Erica? You want to give him a greenie on stream? Oh, he's probably going to run off the chair. The moment you open that drawer, watch Clinton very closely. Do you let Mr. Clinton outside on a leash? I did a long time ago when he killed a squirrel. So I stopped doing that because he made a kid cry. He killed the squirrel right in front of a kid. He caught it. He killed it. He's like a little fucking animal. Thanks for your hard work. Love your videos, said John B. Thank you. You want to give him a greenie, Erica? We give him a greenie on stream? No, I mean like bring the greenie, give it to me, and I'll give it to him. Somebody wants to see him eat a greenie. Really slow with the greenie, okay? Because he's gonna lose his shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Clinton? Clinton? Oh shit. Clinton! No, put it on the chair. Clinton, here you go. Clinton.
Oh no. Oreo needs some stairs to get up. Oreo, come on. Oh, come on, Oreo. Come on, you can get up, Oreo. Oh,
Clinton? Clinton. Jericho is awesome. Yeah, I was really pissed that it got canceled after a season and a half. I would buy an AMD version. Yeah, the Framework laptop would probably be much more powerful if it had a Ryzen version. But again, for them to be able to have options, they need to have profits and money. Once they have more money, they'll be able to do more, give you more options. Clinton, you want a greenie? You want a greenie, you fat little Clinton? You greedy little Clinton that steals the greenie from the Blackberry? Blackberry, you want a greenie? Whoa. Blackberry? Blackberry? Blackberry, come here. How do you feel about ingress protection of devices being more glued, sealed for this purpose versus repairability? Oh, I own the Nest 5. You're not fooling me with that. There are companies that... There's another company. Sony with the Sony has a phone. I think it's XP8 or X8 or XP9 or something that has a user removable battery and is liquid resistant. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Blackberry, are you licking the green? Ow. Blackberry? Ow. Blackberry? Blackberry? Jesus Christ. Whoa. Shit. Don't bite that, Mr. Clinton. Okay, let's see. Can you get the greenie? Holy... Yeah, Mr. Clinton just punched Oreo. Oh, Mr. Clinton has been active. Mr. Clinton? There's a greenie up here for you, Clinton. I really missed the hello, welcome, door chime. Have a good evening. I'll find another one. Clinton? Here, fine. Oreo never going to get one because anytime I throw a greenie, he's the last... Yeah, see. He has no chance of getting a greenie. Absolutely none. My full-time job has many transferable skills as Model Sporting Goods. Comp sci major takes up a lot of my time. It doesn't need practical skills to get a job until I have a degree. Feels bad, man. Model Sporting Goods taught me how to not be afraid walking up to random people and saying, how can I help you? That's surprisingly more important than I thought it was at the time. But it really did. Because I thought that was the end of me doing that was the absolute end of the world. Clinton, look, it's a greenie, Clinton. Whoa. He actually just knocked them all off of the chair. Well, good job, you greedy bastard. You fat Clinton. He's always the first one to get it. Oreo has not gotten a single greenie. Erica, why is Oreo so slow? Everybody's asking to see Cat 3, but you can't because he's so... he can't even jump. Erica actually has stairs next to the bed that she put there because he's not able to jump onto the bed. He just stands there and cries until you pick him up and take him on the bed. You were giving him something, weren't you? Cosiquin?
It was not very effective. As much as I wanted it to be.
What, Clinton? Clinton, you want a greenie? Clinton? Clinton. You're... Oreo's a boy, not a girl. Clinton? Greenie. Here, I'm going to give one to Oreo. Okay, Oreo? No, Clinton. No. Bad Clinton. Damn it. Yeah, he's gonna... Will you miss Cuomo? Not at all. Watch. We're gonna let Oreo get a greenie, okay? Clinton, sit. Clinton! Okay, Clinton, pick up your greenie. See? Greenie? Look, greenie. Pick up these are your greenies. Clinton, get your greenie. Clinton. Look. Is Clinton a bully? 100%. Okay, Oreo, go get the greenie. Oh my God, Mr. Clinton stole that one too. You should talk to other left-leaning creators. Your talk with Destiny was great. It's a great way to spend your message. I'm happy to. Yeah, send me it over. Again, like so many people got pissed that I talked to Sam Cedar. I emailed Steven Crowder months ago. Like, if people want to talk about it, they do, and if they don't, they don't. But yeah, I got a good laugh out of the Steven Crowder thing at the end of June. I'll be honest, like, when somebody posted in the comment to that video is, "This is what anxiety looks like," and my God, that was something else. The cope in my comment section there, like, it's just, that was crazy. Can't even get a cat to sit. Unsubscribed. It's literally the least we can do. Right to repair, says Oak City Gamers. The least you can do is give Mr. Clinton and Oreo a greenie. Okay. Clinton? Clinton, look. Look, do you see the greenie? It's right here. Jump on the side of the chair. Come get your greenie, you fat bastard.
Oreo.
Blackberry, come here. Psst, psst, psst. Okay, Blackberry sees it. Good girl, Blackberry. Good girl.
Oreo, come on. Oreo, where are you?
Clinton, oh my God, Clinton just stole her greenie. You little bastard. Clinton? Clinton, you... Get over here. Are you familiar with Vaush? A lot of people said that he looked like someone who used to work here. That's the only familiarity I have. Clinton? Ow.
I'm going to take back the greenie container.
Grab the Clinton, Erica. Can you grab the Clinton?
No.
Erica, no, I got him. You need you to grab the Clinton so that I can give Oreo a greenie.
Oh, it's okay. I already got Clinton. Oreo, come here. Oh, come.
Oreo's not going to get one because Mr. Clinton's going to hit him.
I have the greenie container now.
Yeah, but Mr. Clinton's going to take it right from under.
He isn't. I'm going to take it. Okay, come here, my baby.
My cat Bandit just heard the greenies from downstairs and came running. What if his cats heard the sounds of the greenie box?
Come on. Oh, my little...
I can't believe how much you insult your cats. I don't insult my cats. It's just the reality that Oreo is slow.
He's getting a lot of greenies. He's getting 100% of the greenies right
Have you heard about the massive Chevy Bolt recall?
Oh,
Yes. Yes, I have.
And some...
Oh, man. LG has to take the L on that to some extent.
Come here, and some...
LG has to take the L on that. I'm glad my e-bike is using Samsung 35E. I'll leave it at that. In an alternate universe, Clinton is feeding his Rossmann. How do you come up with the Clat names? Blackberry doesn't meow, but when I first got her, she went like a Blackberry. Oreo was actually named by Jessa because he was black and white, and he also was double stuffed. He was fat like an Oreo, and Mr. Clinton was named after the rapist of a president, Mr. Clinton, because he, when I first got him, was constantly humping everything. He was humping, and he actually was in his own separate room. They had to separate him from all the other cats because he kept trying to have sex with all the other cats, and the other cats would try to beat him up because they didn't want to have sex with him. He was even trying to have sex with the other male cats, so male and female. He did not discriminate. He tried to hump anything that moved. So I named him after the Democratic presidential candidate from 1992 to 1999, Mr. Bill Clinton. Where is the ASMR MacBook repair video? I don't have one yet. Let's see. What do you think of Windows 11, if you've seen anything? I have not seen Windows 11. Have they done enough to innovate to be worth it? One moment. I'm just going to wash my hand because I don't want greenie on it. Type. Terry? How many greenies did you give them, Eric?
Oreo? 6.
Happy cat. Very happy cat.
Oh, look, someone's looking for the greenies on your chair. Look at that.
What part did LG make on the Bolt? I think that the LG was the battery supplier for the Bolt, but correct me if I'm wrong there. I believe on the Chevy electric vehicle that had a recall that LG made their batteries. Clinton stealer of greenies. He's no bully. You love animals. You obviously don't think you should hurt animals if you can avoid it. Why not avoid hurting them by not eating milk, eggs, meat, etc.? I explained that earlier in the video. I mean, if you don't like my explanation, that's okay. I respect it. It's just I don't understand the point of asking the same question twice. I was at a point where in order for me to be able to do my exercise and lifting and also be able to have the energy that I wanted, I was eating an insane amount of carbs that was making me incredibly, incredibly bloated. And I took the lazy way out of going back to eating a more ketogenic diet, rather than going to a nutritionist and figuring out how to do veganism while lifting weights and going running without becoming a bloated fat ass. I did make 5 years of veganism though. I got five years through, 2015 through 2020, In that case, is his full name Bill Cosby? No, his name is Mr. Clinton. Clinton? Come here, Mr. Clinton. Mr. Clinton? Mr. Clinton?
Robust.
Why do you have a grandma on that thing on your chair? Because somebody in this household happens to be a grandma, and she does the decorating? Ouch. When will you do another MacBook repair video? I got the people at the techs at the store to agree to do one MacBook repair video a week, but then I stopped checking on it, and one of the things that happens as an employer is the moment you stop checking on something, people stop doing it. So I am going to be checking on it and then getting people to do it. If I don't... Whatever LG makes goes bad. I don't think that's true. You know what is funny though? Didn't LG make a commercial a year and a half ago about how they're about how it's very dangerous to deal with batteries because they explode? I guess they know best. You know what? Actually, they know best. LG definitely knows best there. Video. Yep. That recall is costing $1 billion. Is it going to cost General Motors $1 billion, or is it going to cost LG $1 billion? I'm very curious how that is going to work. If LG makes batteries that explode and go on fire for a major automotive manufacturer and then refuses to cover the cost of the recall, that's going to send a message to the world that LG makes trash and doesn't stand behind it. How much of the... Here's the question I would have for all of you. How much of the blame should go to Chevy and how much of the blame should go to LG? Is it something about the way that they implemented LG's battery technology that made them explode? Or is this just purely that LG gave them trash? Are they using those batteries over specification? It's hard for me to imagine that, because if you have a car battery and you're charging it at home, you're putting 120 volts at 15 amps into a battery that's designed to output 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 watts at a time. That's barely using it. You're using that battery system to 1 or 2% of its capacity, if even, when you're charging it at home. So if it's blowing up, if the car is going on fire while you're charging it in your driveway, it's not even like you're overcharging it. It's not even like that's happening because you're charging it at 10,000 amps instead of 100. That's just something. There's something crazy in that. Are you considering moving, or is more of a meme at this point? It is not a meme. It's one of those things where people... I will take a look into it. Thank you. It's one of those things where I am not one person by myself. I have 2 nonprofits. I have media. I guess YouTube shit can go anywhere. And I have a repair business that employs 12 people. I can't move that overnight. That's one of those things that takes time. It also requires finding the right area. And I had some interruptions. I wanted to spend this 2 weeks doing traveling, but I'm going to spend this week doing teaching. And last week I spent at that Vegas convention that I got tricked in. Anyway, another video.
Yeah, I just put a link to the water bottle.
Does a straw have 1 or 2 holes, Erica?
One on each side.
But it's made of the same material, so it's 1 hole.
Yeah, it goes straight through them.
Yeah, but it's not 2 holes. It's 1 hole because that hole is made of the same material. It's not discrete material. But then again, wait. So you wouldn't say that a piece of Swiss cheese has only 1 hole. You wouldn't say that Swiss cheese has 1 hole, even though it's made of the same block of cheese, would you? If there's 2 holes in a Swiss cheese, that's not 1 hole. That's 2.
It doesn't have any holes.
Is it because they're not? Is it because they're not? They're not perpendicular with one another? They're not parallel with one another or something?
The straw has 0 holes. It's basically
Oh.
Like a U.
You kind of got me there. I honestly don't have an answer to that.
Robust.
That's a question for MC Escher. If Jimmy McMillan's rent is too damn high, party could lower your rent, would you stay? That he can't. He doesn't have. There's not a platform there that's actually based on it. And no. Oh, ouch. Once again said moving out of New York City isn't like leaving Afghanistan. Gotta be done properly. Ouch.
Soon.
Burn. Too soon. The batteries had manufacturing defects. They are the folded variety, and the process allowed separation layers to allow the anode and cathode to come in contact. So they got fucked over by LG. It's that's sad. That's sad. That's really sad. Robust, says Vigor NYC. My buddy is on GM. Should all LG batteries be rebranded as Ultra Fire? Maybe. Would you not purchase a Chevy or GM product because of their support for that anti-right to repair bill? The problem there, and this is something that I spoke about with the AutoZone gentleman, is you're not going to really find an automotive manufacturer that is for right to repair. I'd like to see that change, but right now it doesn't exist. Right now it's just different levels of disdain from automotive manufacturers. The news said that GM has to pay the $1 billion. Of course, I mean, obviously they have to pay because they made the car, but they're not really paying if they're able to go over to LG and say, give us $1 billion. And I'm curious to see if they're able to get LG to do that. If LG refuses to accept accountability or responsibility and they won't explain why they are not taking accountability or responsibility, then at that point, I think LG would lose any credibility as a manufacturer. I don't think that that's in LG's best interest, considering how much the world is going towards electric vehicles now. For Oreo got $15 from Traveler One. But the thing is, Clinton got 20. Just saying in the stream. So Clinton still won because somebody donated $20 for Clinton earlier.
Yeah,
Oreo never wins. Are you implying something, Erica? Are you implying that there's something corrupt about the Clinton Foundation? What is corrupt about the Clinton Foundation? He has better ratings.
Yeah.
Robust.
Are you looking to start branching out to other states? Would you be interested in working for a right to repair supporter from Arkansas? Start a workshop class in the area. It would be awesome if you had the time to do some remote assistance. I have no interest in doing remote assistance, and I know that sounds horribly douchey, but I really I'm interested in in-person workshops. I like this whole. I don't want to do what they're doing in Afghanistan, which is okay. We have to fix the plane, but we can't get a contractor. So can you Zoom and point the webcam at what you're doing and oh shit, it's pixelated, it's blurry, I can't see that. I'm just not doing that. What I would be interested in doing once I set up this one. So keep in mind, I have to get this one set up first. So I'm still working out the terms of a grant with this makerspace so that I can get them set up to do this type of workshop, and I also have to find someone who can do the class that's not me. Once that's done here, then I can look into doing this in other states. But I do need to get, I want to get it working where I am first. Okay, Oreo just got $50, Erica. Rowan 1018 just said OREO with spaces in between each. Okay, so Oreo's winning by $45 now. So Clinton got 20, but Oreo got 55. So 20 versus 55. So Oreo is in the lead by $35.
Wes, where's Wes?
I would be interested in doing that in other states, but I have to get it to work where I am first. Once I have it working where I am, then I could work on making it should be faster for me to be able to make grant arrangements with other people in other states. Right now, I still have to find people to do it that are not me, so I need to find someone who is good at micro soldering, good at working, good at electronics troubleshooting, who works at a professional level, who's also willing to get paid to do these workshops where random people will show up and ask questions, and it is a fairly stressful thing to keep up with. Like when I had, over 20 people come to the store for that 1-2 hour workshop that wound up going for 4 hours, I have to find people and I have to come up with a way to make that work here. But once I make it work here, I can start scaling it into other areas. Clinton, what are you doing? Why does your apartment look like you're in a constant state of moving? Because what Erica does is she finds things on the street and then she brings them here. Like, I'll come home one day and there's just a bunch of white branches in front of me. And it's like, what are these white branches doing here? And it's like, I brought them home for you. She's giving me the giant grimace, but she knows it's true.
What? That was last year.
You like to collect junk.
No, but when was the last time I brought?
Look at how empty this apartment was in the video I did about Apple boxes 5 years ago. I finally caught you live. Good job on Right to Repair. Hello, Mr. Better Biomet. I think this is the gentleman that got me a Sennheiser wireless microphone station from my DPA 7 years ago. And if that is you, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Hey, by the way,
I linked to your video once, by the way.
I'm gonna interrupt it, but Sammy, you know what? You're so disrespectful to people. Seriously, it's not cool. I'm gonna hide you.
Oh, he can gargle balls. Yeah, he's a miserable prick.
That's so disrespectful.
There's no need to give them attention. Let's see. Next. Don't give them the attention they seek. Just toss them off and let them go back to malding. Imagine watching an hour of a stream of someone that you don't like. That's a true loser. I know. I bought a 2022 Bolt EUV on Wednesday, then they recalled it on Friday. I hope you got your money back. The question is who designed the batteries, lawyer-wise, I think. I mean, if LG designed them, then I would hope that LG has to compensate GM for giving them garbage product. Maybe Obama should have let GM fail. There's an argument to be made for that. Robust. I have an office space available for a very good price. Sonny, I may actually need an instructor for the phone version of this course, and I've had to contact you about that, but I didn't today because I went to watch a documentary instead. But I'm going to be contacting you about that. What could you do with $86 billion in military weapons? Get Right to Repair passed much sooner. That's. Did you see the question Tony Montana asked? What would you do with $86 billion in military weapons? Oh, schematics or die, baby. I strap myself. I get schematics to machines much quicker that way. New South Wales shot and pounded dogs to death rather than have them adopted to stop spread of COVID. I heard about that, and that made me sad. And I think the idea behind that was they had already said that that wasn't part of what was considered, quote, essential. And it really does ask a question, because at this point in time, we do kill animals if they're not adopted after a point of time. And that's nasty. So people are mad at this, that these dogs were impounded rather than having them adopted. And that sucks. That's horrible. But at the same time, there are many dogs here where we kill them if nobody wants them after a certain period of time rather than let them go free. Isn't that bad too? Obviously, that's more disgusting because they are killing dogs over something that has an insanely low death rate and a place that has a really fairly low number of COVID deaths as a percentage of the population. So to kill a bunch of dogs over that is, to me, disgusting. Again, like if it was Ebola, fine. This, no. Is someone outside EUA, is there something I can do to help Right to Repair? Yes, what you can do is you can tell people in your life why it matters, and you can help people to fix their own stuff. I also don't know what EUA is. There was this one particular piece of news that I saw. Son of a. Thanks for what you do. Right to Repair needs so much more attention than it's currently getting. Thank you, Brendan Rogers. I appreciate that. I think it's starting to get a lot more attention this year, and I'm going to put a lot of effort into it getting way more attention over the next year and a half. I'm putting money into it getting more attention over the next year and a half, which is a part of the reason that it's going to start getting a lot more attention. We really haven't had money to fight with for the longest time. And now we're starting to. Again, to be clear, like the ratio of money that I have to do this is like 1 to 1,000 compared to everybody else. But still, like that's all I need. I don't need a lot to do what I want to do. Keep up good repair work. Thank you. Can't believe somebody gave Oreo $15, Erica. Somebody gave Oreo $15.
I can't believe someone gave Clinton money.
Can't believe they killed dogs over that. Oh man, that's just like, that makes me so fucking sad. There was this one piece of news today that I saw about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah, there was a piece of news over Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and this thing just got me. Let's see, where was it? Yeah, so this was a piece of, this is something like front page CNN. Melissa Joan Hart, fully vaccinated and sick with COVID, warns others. And they have an interview with who I imagine is This guy, I don't know if this is a separate one or if this is her husband, but the guy said, son of a... Should I go for Bafang BBS HD or something else? If you... No, Cole. What you want to get is a BBS HD with a phase runner controller from ebikes.ca, and then once you've mastered that, then go over and get a Cyclone. A Cyclone's more powerful, but it requires that you use another controller type, and it's also more difficult to install on the bicycle. So I would go for a BBS HD first. Once you're done with that, you've blown up a couple of nylon gears, destroyed a couple of bearings, then go on to a Cyclone. Yeah, so I watched this one, and this is something like CNN front page news, and the guy, son of a whore. All of my pets have been adopted, but they a lot of times end up with health problems compared to a well-bred pet. I've adopted all of my animals, and not a single one of them has had a major health problem so far. I adopted my Clinton monster, and he's been fine, except for the time that he almost broke his own leg. So in this video, the guy says, and I'll link it in the chat, he says, this is really, really bad, because I had a cough and a fever and a scratchy throat and a runny nose, and it's like, really now, this is what makes this is what makes news. And it's not fake news. Like, this is one of the things that I've heard Eli say, and I 110% agree with him. It's not fake news. I mean, they are reporting the truth. It's just bad. It's not fake. Still have not won the lotto. Still trying to get you your funding. Here is some money for the work you do. Thank you, Mark Schaefer, and I hope you enjoy the class that you're teaching with Jessa next week. Next time I'm in Jacksonville, I'll come by and say hi. Thank you. Can you give Clinton a boop on the nose? I'm not going to give him a boop on the nose. He's been a good Clinton. He's a good Clinton. No. I love my Clinton. Pretty sure that LG have made billions of cells for other third parties and have a good reliability record. Not for GM. Not for GM. Louis Rossmann threatens violence for legislative goals. I wouldn't be surprised to see that tomorrow. What phone are you using? Different mark, I do software. Then why do you have the same name as the mark that does hardware? What? Why are you confusing me like that? So I have an S10e. A, it has a headphone jack so I can plug in my microphone to it. B, it actually fits in my fucking hand. C, it has a micro SD card slot. If you don't fit those three requirements, I'm not buying your phone. It needs to fit in my hand, one hand. I'm not holding a phone like this to use it. Fit in my hand, have a headphone port, and have a micro SD card slot. If you can't fit those three basic things, then I'm just not buying you.
Robust.
Boop the snoot. What is a snoot? Don't you feel you are engaging in crony capitalism by regulating the market so it favors your business? There's an excellent gentleman on Reddit called Albert Fairfax II. I'll quote him. Me too. I want government out of healthcare except when U.S. capitalists use the state to crush competitors who try to copy our ideas. Ideas are property. Property is more important than liberty or life. I want just enough government intervention to protect my own interests, but not enough that it helps others. And that's precisely what companies like Apple do. When I do these repair videos where son of a whore, that was actually a good fucking question. I can't answer. Looking to leave IT to start my own repair business in Florida. Any advice and services to start with? Started with your deck, and I have soldering gear too. What deck? I would start with liquid damage repair, preferably somewhere near the ocean. Go somewhere near the ocean where it's really humid, a lot of salt water, and liquid damage repair. Honestly, liquid damage repair on MacBooks. Start with that. There's a lot of MacBooks that I saw in Florida. So when Apple has their law firm send me a notice and a phone call that they would like my videos removed from YouTube because I showed the location of a fuse on their motherboard. That's not government intervention? Like, really? I mean, I think it's really important to think about who started this. It bothers me when people who are on Apple's side go all anarcho-capitalist with regards to the state and right to repair, but then simultaneously praise the DMCA. You can't go anarcho-capitalist and then praise the DMCA. Like, if you're using the DMCA to try to have people's content taken down, just fuck out of here with any principle of the stating that this is regulation in the market. That's horrible, because you're looking to use regulation in the market towards your own ends right now. So I would invoke the meme of Albert Fairfax II, one of my favorite Reddit shitposters. He is one of my favorite Reddit shitposters. I enjoy reading his stuff. Quality. Albert Fairfax II. He has some quality shit, man. I, too, bring an electron microscope to all of my Verizon contract signings to ensure that there is not a slavery clause on page 116. I love that guy. I would be honored to meet Albert Fairfax II in person one day. But he's probably an AI that makes political jokes rather than an actual human. It's hard to believe that someone that's that consistently funny is a human and not just next grade AI. Why should consumers be forced to pay to make repairs for independent repair centers? You're not. That's a straw man. Oh, that's 100% straw man bullshit. Consumers are not forced to pay to make repairs for independent repair centers. They're not. The whole thing is about you being allowed to go wherever you want. Oh, you went full straw man bullshit with that one, Dave Miller. You went 110% straw man. The first one was a reasonable question. The second one was just pure straw man bullshit. Here is a tip to feed the cats. Been following your channels for years. Discovered the reward repairs videos and never understood. Stayed for the rants. Thank you, Pierre. Someone gave £5 to feed the kitty. They want more greenies. Albert Fairfax. What am I reading? Favorite restaurant in New York City? It used to be Mazzetto, but they closed. It also used to be Lucha Lucha, but they closed. The two things I loved about New York City are now gone. The GM issue is more likely due to BMS voltage settings or heat management issues under charge. Here's the one area where I disagree with you, is that several of these were going on fire when charging in someone's home. Now, if it was going on fire, charging at 80,000 or 200,000 watts, sure, fine. There's no reason for it to go on fire charging in someone's home where it's 1,500 to 6,000 watts. At 1,500 to 6,000 watts for a battery that's around 70 to 100 kilowatt hours, that should be nothing. The battery should barely even be warm. Like, to give you an idea, I charge my bike at 900 watts. I charge my bike at 900 watts, and the battery does not get warm. And that is like 4 or 5 kilowatt hours, kilowatt hour pack. For a 60 to 100 kilowatt hour pack to go on fire while it's charging in someone's driveway, that's a fucking joke. Jonathan funded $9.99. Thank you. That's why I don't think it's a configuration issue. Don't get me wrong. I'm open to GM fucking something up. If there's anything American car manufacturers love to do, it's fuck shit up. But it's hard for me to buy that GM did something there based on the circumstances that it happened under. Why do mic jacks on phones break so damn much? Because you plug it in and unplug it all the time. Robust. We don't talk about that stream anymore. Never give a cat a boop on the nose. I'll give him a pet. A tiny pet. Little Clinton. Little Clinton. I'm not going to walk outside with Clinton on a leash again. The last time I did that, he ate a squirrel. Or tried to eat a squirrel.
Robust.
Hot old Greenie says Tuda Cat. Based Fairfax says Kwang Nugent. Yeah, Albert Fairfax is fucking hysterical. That's my favorite Reddit account right there. Albert Fairfax II. I could read that shit all day long. I have a couple of large medical equipment OEMs that are watching my videos. I'm expecting letters from my attorney any day. Haha. You're cordially invited to our lab someday to use our PSU test equipment to explode power supplies. You don't even have to repair them after. We've exploded 6 poorly designed ones this week. Is that the real Gamers Nexus? Next time I go to Florida, on my way, I will stop in North Carolina. Not Lumberton. Learn my lesson. But I will stop by, and I will be humbled and honored to have a tour of your place. And if you do ever show up into the shithole that is New York City, you are extended an open invitation at any time to stop by and get a tour of our dump of a store. And thank you very much. Reddit.
Robust.
Do you think Tesla's robot will play Doom? I don't. If it plays Doom as badly as it tries to drive or park, then no. No, I don't trust it. Hasn't Elon been selling full self-driving for years as full self-driving, and he can't even get the shit to park? Have you ever tried to use the auto park feature in a Tesla? I should do a video of that. I think that would be fun. Eric, you think that would be a good video? Watch a Tesla auto park. That would be fucking hysterical.
Robust.
Hello from Toronto, Ontario. There is an election in Canada right now. Housing affordability is one of the major issues. One party proposes to increase housing supply and ban foreign investment. Increasing housing supply seems like an obvious answer. Banning foreign investment... How do you do that? Excuse me. I would question how it is that you're able to do that. Because, like, if someone's in a country where they're afraid of having all their shit taken, couldn't they just wire their money to someone and have them start a company? Clinton, Clinton. Yeah. That's euros, not pounds. It's the same to me, man. It's the same to me. Any views in the Middle East? Guess our boys are coming home. I think that the way that we left Afghanistan, it's pretty much going as it would have probably gone if I were the president, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So, it seems like a mess. That's the type of mess I would expect if I had tasked Mr. Clinton to head up the removal of our soldiers from Afghanistan, or if I was the one doing it, because I have zero experience when it comes to the military, zero experience when it comes to anything regarding troops or foreign policy. It seems like a complete and utter mess, which is sadly what I was expecting it to be.
Robust.
Speculation on what has worse service, HP or Apple. Probably HP. Also, but the thing with HP is that HP makes a lot of cheap shit. So at least the service is somewhat commensurate with it. Unless you bought a high-end HP, in which case I'm sad. Dell went out and made a front company to buy up and sell antenna signals from FCC. I had no idea about that. I don't keep track of antenna signals from the FCC. I would think that HP's service might be worse than Apple, but it's less surprising to me because a lot of their products are cheaper. They have in recent years tried to get into the high-end market more, I noticed. Is that a mechanical keyboard? How's your keyboard game? I actually used to beat everybody in my live streams here at Type Racer. Everybody would talk a bunch of shit, and then we'd go on Type Racer on the live channel, and I'd win. This keyboard is the Microsoft 600. I don't know if this is mechanical. It's a Microsoft 600 wired keyboard. It is my favorite keyboard. I have one at the office as well. This keyboard is amazing, and I am able to kick the crap out of everybody at the store in Type Racer when using this keyboard. Your live repair videos got me through many a sleepless night once upon a time. Thank you. Also, how about we not train a robot to aim and shoot even in a video game? No thanks, Skynet. Hopefully, if anybody's training a robot to aim and shoot, it's Tesla, because it would probably fail. Like, hopefully, at least it's Tesla doing that. Like, it would probably try to pick up the gun, and then before it even gets this far, it would go boop, 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 and then it would die. Are you considering relocating? I am, but it takes time to find a place that works, and I got to get through this week because we have a class to teach.
Robust.
I am considering relocating. Your tire breaks down. Huh? Scroll, 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 scroll. You personally think owned guns should have biotech thumbprint ID as a safety measure? No. No. The amount of times that the fingerprint reader on this phone has failed, fuck no. The last thing I want when someone breaks into my house and I have a split second to shoot them before they, like stab my wife or something, I don't want, no. That's bad. That's bad. That's going to be so bad. Start a right to repair live tracker showing how much money you've saved customers. MSRP replacement costs less than your repair fee. Huh. That would be interesting. But then somebody could make the arguments that right to repair hasn't passed it and you still save the money, so how does this work? Yeah, thumbprint ID for a gun, I'm not feeling that. Especially LG. So at least this is a Samsung S10. It's not that bad. I had an LG phone that had one of those on screen. It was the LG V60. That fingerprints, that was a total piece of shit. Like, that could never get my fingerprint right. Too early to talk about wastewater-based EPI. What? I don't know what that is. Why do you guys use acronyms? I'm not educated. The more wastewater-based... Yeah, sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree with this channel on that one. Seems like Apple has nothing new and groundbreaking last few years. What direction do you think they're going with no innovation? I think they're going with the milk their business model as much as they can and see how high they can pump their stock price, how much money they can get in the bank, and go from there. You do board repair on a car. I'd be open to it. Clinton? Clinton? Cars have had auto park figured out for a decade or two already. Oh, get into a Tesla that has full self-driving. No, they have not. Other cars, maybe. Not. That would be a fun one. That would be a fun video. How can I get more young people into physical repair? You teach 5th to 8th grade technology, but are you able to actually get people to have fun doing this stuff in person? Like, are you in a position where you're allowed to have people show up to physical workshops and actually work on these types of tools? Or are you in a scenario where there's like 2 years worth of red tape and contracts, and if a kid like touches a soldering iron wrong and he gets like he burns his finger momentarily, his mom was going to sue the school for 20 million kind of thing? If it's if you don't have to worry about that, then I would try to get kids into it that way. Would you be open to having a talk about your car's extended warranty for 50 Mexican dollars? For 50 American dollars maybe, but not for 50 Mexican dollars. Kabul is turning out like other Democrat-run cities, total waste and utter failure. Yep, because places like Lumberton, North Carolina are just completely abreast with beautiful opportunities and low crime. Ideologically possessed comment. Next. Dude, don't get me wrong. New York City is a meme in so many ways. In so many ways, this is a clusterfuck. Dude, have you driven through the rest of America? Like, there's a lot of clusterfucks with an R next to the name and not a D. Lots of clusterfucks with the D next to it. Also a lot of clusterfucks with the R next to it. Next generation is just going to laugh at us with all this red team, blue team bullshit. The next generation is just going to look at our red, blue team bullshit and just laugh. I actually got a call back from my local representative, and they sounded on board with right to repair, but asked what specific bill I was supporting. Do you know what I can bring up? No, because I don't know where you live. So there's different bills in different states. Some states don't have bills, but I know at least 17 states have a bill. I have to know where you're located. Repair.org has a thing where if you put in your address and zip code, they will tell you if there's a bill in your state, and it'll tell you who you should contact based on your address. Check out repair.org for that. But in order to even do that, or to know off the top of my head, I would need to know your state. Scroll, scroll. Scroll, scroll. Scroll, scroll. Scroll. Best resources online, where to learn to solder. Hey, you could watch this channel. I like my channel. I will shill my channel. youtube.com/Rossmann Group.
Robust.
Thoughts on new framework laptop? I need to come up with a one-liner for that because I get asked that so many times a stream. They're making schematics available, which is a good thing. They're expensive for the performance level that you get and not very customizable because they haven't made enough money yet to be able to branch out and have a bunch of different configurations. So I hope that they make a bunch of money so that they're able to have a bunch of different configurations so that if you want to buy a laptop from them that has a 20,000 CPU benchmark score or a GPU that you can. So, because right now, it's great that they're repairable, but even if you're willing to pay twice what their most expensive offering is, you still can't get an offering that has some real power to it. But I hope that they make a lot of money off of what they're making here, because the more money they make, the more options they'll be able to offer. How do you feel about AirPods costing $89 for Apple to fix? I'm not a fan of AirPods as headphones at all, honestly. I don't care if they charge $89 to fix them. But the main issue here is when you say fix, what does that mean? Does that like bad battery? Does that mean randomly connecting? Does that mean the driver's not working? The mic is not working? Like, I mean, how much a dollar amount, how bad a dollar amount is to fix is in proportion to the cost of the item and the problem with it. So it's like saying a Chevy is $89 to fix. What do you think of that? Difference in jabbed or not visiting New York City. There's restaurants that won't let you in, but those restaurants are probably going to suck anyway. I went to one restaurant that required I have a vaccine passport before I made my resolve to not do that. and it took us about 45 minutes to get a burrito. I ordered chips and guacamole. I didn't get them, and it took us about 20 minutes to check out because the guy was too busy talking to other people. So, like, I don't know. The restaurants that I still go to don't give a fuck if I have a vaccine passport, and I'm not telling you what they are because I don't want de Blasio showing up and fucking finding them, and I'm probably not going to change it. Which innovation do you think will get pushed into public availability first? Interactive, hologram, holographic, or quantum computing? Interactive hologram before quantum computing, by far. But again, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. You're asking the wrong person. If you want a qualified answer, this is not the place to get it for a question like that. Exploding during low current charging at home doesn't mean that low current charging causes damage. MacBooks fail months after you spill water on them. I would imagine that GM made the battery in their device liquid resistant. It is always a possibility that they did not, but I really hope that that's not the case. That would be a giant fail. Typical American not being able to typical American worried about not being able to shoot someone fast enough. Typical YouTube commenter cunt. Next. Listen, there's no point to buying a gun if you have to use a fucking fingerprint scanner before you're allowed to use it. Like, that's a big part of being in a gunfight. Like, there's a whole... You just missed the point to be an asshole. Next. Clinton appeared from nowhere like a ninja. That's what he does. Right to repair exists. The bullshitter, hide your kids, hide your wife. Hide your Clinton. Hide your Clinton. What's wrong with increasing sales? There's nothing wrong with increasing sales if you're selling innovative and good products. There is if your sole intention is to try to increase sales for the sake of increasing sales rather than innovating so that you can increase sales. With New York City getting worse by the nanosecond, are you feeling pressure to expand as quickly as possible to other city stores? May lighten the low stress on your OG store. I am not feeling stressed to open a new one immediately. No. It's not like nanos. I'm not at a point where I'm thinking to myself, I need to open another store immediately, because that would be a royal pain in the ass. I'd like to find another place that I would like to live, that I think would be a nice place to live, and that also I could reasonably see other people wanting to live in. That's somewhat has something for entertainment, and then go from there. Robust. Thoughts on California's energy laws and computers you're allowed to buy? Gamers Nexus did a good video on that. His video made sense to me. I would defer to Gamers Nexus on that. Usually my knee-jerk reaction would be to say that bad, very, very bad, but when you actually read it, it's not that horrible. Mark Reinecker, you've copied and pasted the same question many times, but you haven't told me what state you live in, so I can't answer that. I have no idea what to tell you because I don't know where you live. Next. Can I still play the shell game? Huh? What is wrong with ANCAP ideology? I think anarcho-capitalism is great. There's nothing wrong with the ideology, Dave Miller. What's wrong is that you took what I said and then you changed it and then you said that I said it, which is called a straw man. And once I see someone do that, I just stop engaging with them because it's useless. So there's nothing wrong with the ideology. What's wrong is not arguing in good faith, which is what you did from the first question that you asked here, which is why I'm not engaging with you anymore. I answered your first question, but then your second question was just completely strawmanning the entirety of what I've been saying on this channel for 10 years. And I can't fuck with that because you're not coming from a genuine place. That's not an honest place. All right, let's see.
Robust.
If Lambda and B1621 variants cause another lockdown, will you immediately move? That depends on whether or not the store is considered essential. if we are if it gets to the point where they're actually enforcing it, like last time I didn't even care about the pause order. I just stayed open. If we were to be fully locked down, which I don't think would happen, but if that happened, then yeah, at that point, I would just look at everybody and say, listen, I tried to retain a job here for you. I'm not allowed to by the state, so you guys can either come with me or bye.
Robust.
But we'd have to see. I play it play by play. Say you have dietary issues that may affect your response to the vaccine. Are there any dietary issues you know of that may complicate things? I don't know of any dietary issues that would affect you with the vaccine, but also do keep in mind that I'm a MacBook board repair person that got out of high school with a 72 average. I am not a medical doctor or an epidemiologist. So you might want to speak to your doctor about that when it comes to the vaccine. I would highly suggest getting your medical advice from a medical doctor and not people that you watch on YouTube that fix shit, that barely graduated high school.
Robust.
What do you think of Star Citizen? I have no idea what that is. I will Google it, and that's what you get. Star Citizen is an in-development multiplayer space trading and combat simulation game developed and published by Cloud Imperium Games for Microsoft Windows. I haven't played games in like 15, 20 years besides Dota. Thoughts on empanadas? They're quality, but high in carbs, so I try to avoid them.
Robust.
Criminals that break into people's homes are probably not going to use legally compliant firearms, which is why mandating fingerprint scanning weapons would be completely useless. The other reason it would be completely useless is you have hundreds of millions of firearms in the United States already. So if you decide to put this functionality into new ones, firearms are not Apple products. They actually last longer than a couple of years before a design defect makes them die. You can kill someone with a 20 or 30-year-old gun fairly easy. So if you put these thumbprint scanning things onto newer weapons, I imagine that, I think the best that's going to do is it would keep your child from shooting your gun. But if your child is able to actually get to your gun to begin with, you have failed in so many areas of gun safety that you probably shouldn't own one to begin with. If you store your weapon in a manner where your child is able to find it, load it, and use it in your home, then you've already failed. You're way beyond the point where you should not even own a weapon. I am for the Second Amendment. I am for gun ownership. I have no problem with you owning a weapon, firing an automatic weapon. You do you. I just think that if you are going to own a weapon in the circumstance where you have children or other people in your home, that you should be able to secure that weapon so that your children don't get access to it, not rely on some sort of bullshit fingerprint scanner. That's what I think. I think the freedom to have a gun comes with the responsibility to keep your kids and other people that may enter your home from being able to use that weapon without your consent. I mean, that shouldn't be difficult if you follow some basic gun safety. Thank you, Alamora. I really appreciate that. The art teacher in my middle school uses solders with kids, so maybe. Well, that's cool.
Robust.
What electric vehicle would you buy if you had to buy today? Sadly, Tesla, for the sole reason that they have the best charging network around the country, and the third-party charging network as it exists is a giant joke, particularly if you want fast charging. I really do hope that changes over time. The only reason that I would use a car is not for daily travel in New York. If I were just traveling around my neighborhood, any electric vehicle would do. The only reason that I would want to have a car is to be able to travel from state to state to state, to be able to do cross-country travel. And cross-country travel, even if you download the PlugShare app and you take a look at all the stations available, Tesla's really far ahead there. Everybody else has kind of dropped the ball with it. So a lot would have to catch up with regards to a nationwide charging network before other companies are going to be able to compete with them. And I hope that they do, because Tesla are just cunts. They're a horrible company. Does your business only do work for the consumer market? If so, have you given a thought to getting contracts from the corporate industry? I don't know about corporate. Most of the offices in my area have been shuttered and closed to begin with, but we used to have like every now and then we'd have other repair shops send us stuff, but I don't focus on it anymore because they tend to be cunts. I much prefer to just deal with the end consumer directly rather than a middleman. Dealing with a middleman sucks because it adds time, it adds waste. Instead of speaking directly to the customer, I'm speaking to them through a middleman. It's really annoying. I'd much rather deal with customers directly, and I have set up my business to focus on dealing with the customer directly, not to be a business-to-business partner for other repair shops. I'd rather they learn from my channel how to do it themselves. I don't have any sci-fi memorabilia that I've purchased or searched for. I have none. I have zero. I don't watch a lot of sci-fi. I have Batman Beyond. Season 1, Episode 5. That's the closest thing that I have. That's not science fiction. That's a cartoon. That's the closest thing to sci-fi, which really tells you how little sci-fi I have. The guy runs my local range in northeastern Pennsylvania, 2 hours from you. Also loves right to repair. Come to Pike County, and we can show you how to use safely. I'd love to learn how to shoot a gun. I mean, I don't have a gun here because I think that's like, I don't think I'm allowed to. There is no Second Amendment in New York City. They have overrun it, overturned it. But I would be, yeah, I'd love to check it out. It's on my list of things to do. I want to take a gun safety course when I visit another state, and then after I've taken the gun safety course, and I'd like to, kind of shadow somebody else and learn the ropes, and then get my own firearm someday. But I can't do that in New York City because New York City, doing that in New York City is horrible. It would be like trying to do a soldering repair at the Genius Bar. It's like it's a fight uphill.
Robust.
I wonder if Albert Einstein's mom ever said, "Nice going, Einstein." Tommy Cash for $5. Maybe she didn't, and because she didn't, it got him to overachieve to prove her wrong. I don't know, and I'll never be able to ask him. Don't carry a gun. Avoid putting yourself in precarious situations. You see, I don't think a lot of people that get themselves in precarious situations realize that it's a precarious situation until they're already in it. And once they're already in it, I think they'd much rather have a gun than not have a gun at that point. I don't think people plan for it. It's like saying plan to not get raped, plan to not get robbed, plan to not have someone invade your home. How do you plan for that? How do you plan to not have someone break into your home? How do you plan to not have someone try to rob you in a parking lot at 2 a.m? Like, what kind of statement is that? What do you think about the horripilation of the cell wounds, which causes... Bro. No. I don't know if that's... You just wasted 200 Mexican dollars, man. I have no idea what any of that means. I didn't mean to straw man. That was just a typo on my own part. Bro, talk to Albert Fairfax II. I'll leave it at that. You continue this conversation with my good man, Albert Fairfax II. What do you think of the new iMac? Seems like it's unrepairable, like it's a disposable computer. Apple has been on that for a long time now. What kind of entertainment do you recommend in New York City? Broadway shows are pretty nice, but they're all closed right now.
Robust.
Go to Pocono Pistol. It's only 90 minutes away. Shoot all day. Stop at Dunkelberger's over there. Good gun store, outdoor gear. We'll try it someday. Thank you. Do you prefer traditional investments, IRA, ETF, or do you dabble in crypto asset world? That entire section of my life has been a clusterfuck for way more than I want to put on YouTube. But now I've gotten, I don't do much crypto. I got fucked over by KuCoin, which is a very, 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 very scamming, shitty exchange before. And once bitten, not again. I don't know. I've not. Next question. KuCoin or scumbags? What? I actually still have a coin that you literally can't even sell. The only exchange that existed for it was Binance when they allowed it, and now the new Binance US, doesn't have that coin. So there are coins that I have that not only are they shit coins that are worthless, but I can't even dump those bags on somebody else. Next topic. Next topic.
Robust.
What gen iPhone do you believe is the golden age for Apple? Three. The iPhone 3. The 2 and the 3. Back when you didn't have stuff that was... yeah, the 2 and the 3, back when you were just competing with the BlackBerry and its garbage browser. Once you had stuff like the HTC Incredible, I just stopped seeing the iPhone as interesting.
Robust.
What is the best park in the city for people watching? I don't really visit the parks much, honestly. I spend most of my time at work. The park across the street from 280 Mill Road in Staten Island, because I have memories of my dad bringing me there when I was young. But that's obviously not the park that's going to be the best for you. I won't buy a Tesla because I don't want to, mostly because I don't want to be perceived as a self-righteous hipster weenie. I don't purchase products based on how people would perceive me. I purchase things based on what makes sense at the time and what suits my needs. I don't purchase things with the intent of signaling to other people my personality or who I am or my identity. My identity is not in a brand. It's in what I do. Kylie Walling funded $5. Thank you. For fuck's sake, Lewis, third-party charging network. Really? I mean, it is shit. Like, for instance, if you take where my dad is, you have a Tesla supercharger that's 250,000 kilowatts, or you can go an additional 30 miles out of the way to get a 30,000 or 20,000 watt charger, or 2 miles away you have 6,000 watt charger. Like, just one example. And I really, really hope that there is a car company out there that grows a pair and says, we're going to compete with Tesla. We are going to beat these fucks into the ground, and we are going to build cars that actually have decent quality fucking control that is not run by an egomaniacal cunt. Like, I hope that other car companies start competing with them on that. It's just the reality right now that the other charging networks, they're not great. Like, a lot of them are broken. You show up and none of them actually work. Or you show up and it's like max, it says 20 kilowatts, but you only get 5 or 10 out of it. It's like, there's a lot of catching up to do. And no automotive manufacturer wants to create their own charging network. They don't want to put the money in. And I understand why they don't, but that just means they're going to stay behind for a while. Best park, Corona Park in Queens, not kidding, says Sonny. You got to be kidding. That's where David lives nearby. I don't hear anything good about from David. Einstein married his cousin, says Red Moet. So did Giuliani. Off. Listen, he's not my family member. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. Actually, you plan to not have bad things happen is by being aware of your surroundings, and it works pretty well. Yeah, all the way up until it doesn't. All the way up until it doesn't. You're one of those people that comes in and is like, I can't believe that person next to me is so stupid and he needs data recovery. What are you in for, sir?
Robust.
I spilled Coke on my laptop. Like, I've had that before. You're one of those people. You're one of those people that assume that you're better than everybody else, and all the way up until the moment that you actually get into some shit, and then you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. How would you feel about the government standardizing the electric car charging network and the third party building them after standardization? If that would result in something good, then sure. If it would result in, I know that's a lame answer, but if they could actually get their shit together and come up with something that works and makes sense, then yes, absolutely. Go for it. I get why Tesla used the proprietary one, because I think the idea was we don't want everybody else. If we're going to invest in our own charging network, then we want our customers to not have to wait in line. It's already bad enough to have to wait 20 to 40 minutes to charge their vehicle. We don't want them to have to wait for all the Fords and the Chevys and the Toyotas that are not paying for their own charging network to be built to be stuck here. But that is kind of why you need a standard. Like, the lack of a standard is a problem. But at the same time, it's not the primary problem, because if you have a Tesla, you could buy one of those. You could charge with the CHAdeMO. You can charge with the J1772. The issue isn't there's no standard. The issue is that there are not enough J1772 and CHAdeMO charging stations across the U.S. And that's, again, I'll give Tesla credit where they deserve credit. They have an amazing charging network that they've built up.
Robust.
Did you see the Asus Simo video defending the right to repair? He did so in Portuguese. Asus Simo? What's Simo? Why do you all use acronyms? What is with the acronyms? What the fuck is a Simo? I don't know what a Simo is. Yeah, I just googled Asus Simo, and I don't know what a Simo is. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be taking it out on you, but that's like the fourth acronym someone's used this stream that makes no sense to me. I don't know what a Simo is. I don't know what a Simo is. You can call me an idiot. Why would you be in a parking lot at 2 a.m.? You would be in a parking lot at 2 a.m. because you were scheduled to land at a certain time when it was safe, and your plane landed ridiculously late because a bunch of crap happened that's outside of your control. I know. Everything in your life is always perfectly controlled. Everything always goes according to plan. You're adorable. Now get the fuck out of here. It's just like, I'm never in a precarious situation because I plan everything. Everything goes according to plan. Fuck out of here. That's not life. If either that's not life, or that is your life, and your life is fucking boring. You can't plan, all you can do is prepare. See that, Gunbu understands it. Gunbu, whatever his name is, he understands it. That makes sense. The idea that you could just plan to live a life where you're never going to have anything outside of your specific plan ever happen to you, that's bullshit. That's not, you don't live a real life if that's the case. Anti-gun people are surprisingly all incredibly prone to victim blaming, says that bug behind you. Yes, that's what I'm noticing in my chat right now. Granted, that's only what I'm noticing in this chat. I've only noticed it from 2 people, but there are 2 people in this chat that have been holier than thou pricks over that particular issue. Far safer to be in a familiar place with familiar people than a strange place among strange people. Yes, never ever explore. Don't explore the world. Stay on your block, actually. Stay in your house. And double mask. Woo, another live stream. Love those. I heard that Cuomo stepped down, so if things improved. No. Okay, listen. Cuomo is an asshole, but a state and a city does not become the way it is because of one individual. There's 8.5 million people here. In the state, there's over 20 million people. And a lot of, like, our politicians are reflections of us. So if we have shitty politicians, well, who the fuck, Simo uses less letters as the head of marketing. Oh. I have not heard anything about ASUS and right to repair, but I'm adding that to my list of homework. But yeah, I mean, didn't they have customer service recently say that they did not want to tell the thickness of a thermal pad? It's hard for me to believe that that's anything but lip service. You believe in right to repair, let's see some schematics for your laptops without having to go to Venafix. If I still have to go to Venafix to get a schematic for your product rather than going to asus.com, it's lip service. That's just my opinion. I vote underdog for mod, for robust moderation, for robust conversation. Yeah, but you voted in a currency called ISK. What is ISK? What is this currency you're lobbying me with? What is this currency you're robustly Charlie Browning me with?
Robust.
Thoughts on Monero? Also, I'm not sure what crypto token that you hold, but you may be able to swap to another crypto using SideShift, ChangeNow, or Godex if they list the token you hold. But caution, selling crypto for another crypto is a taxable event. KuCoin stole a giant amount of Utrust coin from me, so I'm not able to actually use that anymore because they fucking stole it, and then they said if I gave them $30, they would look into it, and then they never email me back. So, yeah, my issues with crypto are deeper than what I think I have the ability to solve at this point in time. I haven't heard you talk about this, but it's possible I missed the video. What are your thoughts on New York City and it went away? That's lame. Why does it not show up long enough for me to read it? Fuck, and there's another one. Come on, I gotta read that one. Angus. What are your thoughts on New York City vaccine mandates and having medical exemptions that bars, thus barring us from certain places and forcing us to be fired? I'm not for the vaccine mandate to begin with, much less not having. I get what they're saying with medical exemptions because so many of the medical and religious exemptions that people bring up are often bullshit. So I get it. I get what they did. Said we're not digging into the weeds with this. We're either having it or we're not. I appreciate that to some extent. They're either having it or not. Like, again, if you're going to be the bitch, be the whole bitch. I can at least respect that you're being the whole bitch. I would just ask them to not be the bitch and not have the mandate to begin with. I'm 10 minutes behind. I'm up to 9:49.
Robust.
Microsoft has a talk where they explain that they need to serially bind the CD drive to the logic board to burn pirated games. What are your thoughts on this, Ari, right to repair? Don't people seem to pirate games anyway? I think it's an excuse.
Robust.
I watched your empty storefront videos earlier, and I agree the landlords are complete idiots. They should be reducing prices by now if the spaces are in renting or offering incentives. I don't know if they're idiots. I just think they're a part of a system where it only makes sense for them to not rent it. So let's say that they rent it for a lower amount, and the building is now marked down. And the bank says, okay, you owe us $800,000 now. And the person who owns the building only has $100K in the bank. They're done. Now, if you're done, wouldn't you want to put it off for as long as humanly possible rather than be taken to the cleaners now? The system that they're working within is a system that is bound to crash and burn. Or I shouldn't say the system, the market that they're working in right now. There wasn't a standard for fast charging when the Model S came out. That is a big part of the issue. It was alive. I asked about the video you made talking about the thermal pad. He said that he personally doesn't agree with the company about it. Would you like to do a live with him? I'm his moderator. His name is Marcel Campos. My email is lewis@fighttorepair.org, and I'd love to do have a discussion with him. Yeah, if you want to set it up, my email is lewis@fighttorepair.org. Lewis@fight2repair.org. That's 2 T's. FIGHTTOREPAR.org. That's my email. Set it up. I'd be happy to have him on, and I have a lot of questions for him. Lewis, that's an overreaction. Incorrect. It is not an overreaction. It is 100% a reasonable scenario. There are many reasons for someone to be in a parking lot or a parking garage at 2 a.m. And if you can understand that that is the case, then you have probably lived a considerably more boring life than people who have. There are reasons for people wanting to protect themselves, and they make sense. Great recommendation on Start With No by Jim Camp. Thank you, Angus. In your experience, how often do hard drives fail? This often. That's not an issue with crypto, man. That's an issue with centralized exchanges. I'm not talking about there being an issue with crypto. I'm simply explaining why it is that I'm not fucking with it right now. I have put money in. I say I'm putting X amount in. I put X amount in. I get burned. I am not trying again. I'm not saying that there's an issue with crypto. I did not say that. I am simply saying that I am not interested in putting more in. In a precarious situation, I'd rather my attacker not have a gun. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what the law is. In a precarious situation, your attacker will have a gun. Exhibit A, New York City. The fact that banks allow that and they know what's going on right now, you'd really think they would have figured out some sort of payment instead of none coming in. But what do I know? Yeah, it's like, yeah. The problem is they wouldn't be able to claim that the asset is still worth as much as it's worth because that would be fraud. But they can if nobody rents it. Like, you know. Lewis literally got me walked in my face with claws when he rattled the treats earlier. Aw, that's funny. I work in a healthcare center. If you don't get vaccinated, you're fired because of a state mandate that all workers be protected. I disagree with vaccine mandates for normal, average, everyday people, but I have no problem with a vaccine mandate for, let's say, the military or a hospital. Like, if you're agreeing to be around vulnerable people all day long, then yeah, sure, force those people to get vaccinated. That makes total sense to me. If you're in the military, makes total sense to me. Like, I remember Paul was saying, I can't believe people are bitching about this vaccine, because he was reading somewhere they're saying, I hope they don't expect the military to be forced into being COVID vaccinated. But he got an anthrax vaccine. You know how much the anthrax vaccine sucks compared to the COVID vaccine? COVID vaccine is nothing compared to how much the anthrax vaccine sucks. And they were forced to get that because you're in the fucking military. You know it costs $290,000 a year to hold a hot dog stand permit that lets to put a cart in front of the entrance of Central Park Zoo? That is disgusting. That is disgusting. And I am, oh my God. That's more rent than I pay for my store. That's more than twice the rent of my fucking store. To have a cart. Not even, oh my God. Wow. If that's true, I didn't Google that to make sure it's true, and you shouldn't trust YouTube chat without Googling. But the fact that that's even plausible, that I could even think that you're not kidding, just it says something about New York City and their penchant for ripping everyone off.
Robust, robust, robust.
New York City, the overpriced American dream. You know, George Carlin has a good saying about the American dream. I think I would apply that to New York City as well. He has never heard of someone working a night shift. A lot of the comments that said, yes, I plan to not be in precarious situations have obviously never heard of someone working a night shift. I'm still trying to get a read on the type of content you create, but I appreciate your quality. I don't know what kind of content I create. I still have no idea why anybody watches this shit.
Robust, robust, robust.
How is the right to repair fight? Are we winning? Making progress, not winning yet. Will you pursue any other means of income since OnlyFans is limiting access?
Robust, robust, robust.
I disagree, Lewis. No mandates anywhere. Nah, I agree with a vaccine mandate if you work at a hospital. If you are by choice being tasked and paid to be surrounded by vulnerable people, then you should have to be vaccinated. Like if you're actually getting paid $40 or $60 or $80 or $200,000 a year solely to treat people who are sick, and they say we want you to take this vaccine, then yes, fine. If you're not okay with that, then don't become a nurse or a doctor, I would say. But having a vaccine mandates that you could enter a bar, that's bullshit. Having the bartender be the one to, or the bouncer be the one to enforce it, that's big. Or the barista, that's bigger bullshit. We don't do anthrax for the military anymore. I think Paul's stint in the Marines was in the early 2000s, and back then they required that he get the anthrax vaccine. So Paul at the store is a United States Marine, and he started, I believe, in the early 2000s. And back then they gave you the anthrax vaccine, and the way that vaccine sucks. Like when Paul told me what it was like to get it, I googled it and I listened to stories from other people. Oh, COVID vaccine is not. No. Anthrax vaccine sucks. That's a vaccine right there. Anthrax vaccine is not experimental. Neither is this one. Stop watching BitChute. Has anyone told you look like Adam Sandler at first glance? I've never heard that before. Micro Snapple. Are you requiring your employees to vaccinate? No. I only have one person who hasn't gotten vaccinated yet. He shows up like a half hour to an hour late every day, so I would never let him go because he didn't get vaccinated. I can't say that his inability to tell time will have him be a long-lasting person here. But everybody here is vaccinated besides one person. Maybe I'll go up to him one day and say, you have two choices: get vaccinated or learn how to tell time. I don't know. Why is no COVID vaccine FDA approved? You think it's okay to mandate vaccines? Emergency approval authorization is not FDA approved. It's simply not fully approved. But if you're dealing with vulnerable people in a hospital, then I have no problem with them mandating you get a vaccine. If you're a normal person, I have a problem with them mandating you get a vaccine. And if they're saying that vaccine mandates need to be enforced by baristas and bartenders, that is something I think is a clusterfuck and I'm not for. If you specifically chose the profession of being around sick people, being tasked to be around sick people in close proximity to sick people and heal sick people, then I think you signed up for it. We watch it because you do not BS the community and because Apple failing at making quality circuit board is amusing when unqualified people can fix it. Thank you, Double Vision.
Robust.
Hello, Ruben. Thank you. What about service industry people being in contact with others? I think to some extent, well, A, you're not going to be exclusively surrounded by sick people. You did not sign up for the job with the exclusive intent of healing sick people. And sick people have a choice to not go to your bar, your restaurant, or your office. They don't really have a choice when it comes to the hospital.
Robust.
The diabetes medication that causes gangrene of the genitals was FDA approved, so who cares about FDA approval? I did a video on this channel that got a lot of shit several years ago, and it pisses me off because a lot of people that are giving me shit about I want it to be FDA approved now, I don't understand it because I did a stream about the FDA a while ago, and a lot of people said that I was being... one sec, let me find this video. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. So I went over how the FDA handled Dynavax vaccine called Heplisaf, and how they handled Agile Therapeutics trying to get Twirla, which was a birth control patch approved. They actually admitted their paper was very clear. Yeah, you know, we know that we asked you all this information. Fuck, I'm in the middle of something good. I apologize, Double Vision, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. The FDA said, okay, listen, we don't understand how patches work when they're a circle. Can you do us a favor and do it as a rectangle, please? I know you paid an extra $5 million to have this PDUFA done very quickly. Just change your entire process. And they did. They actually got Corium, who was manufacturing this patch for them, to change the entire process. They resubmitted everything within 2 weeks. You know what they did? They sent them a CRL on December 22nd. And in the CRL, the FDA admitted, we never read this. Sorry, bro. And then they didn't get back to them for like another year. So, the reason that I was not fully concerned with it, I was more concerned with what happened after hundreds of millions of people took it, which was nothing, versus the FDA, is because the FDA slow walks everything. What politicians are mandated to a shock collar, hook to a lie detector? I'm okay with the vaccine mandate. Okay, I could feel you on that. The vaccine isn't a real vaccine. It's literally just another step in achieving Agenda 2030. See, that's the problem that I have with the anti-vaccine people. Like, I'm not for a mandate, but the problem that I have is that you have like the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, they're trying to kill you, and like all this crazy, stupid, ridiculous bullshit. I'm not with that. Like, I'm not with any of that. Agenda 2030. Look at you in your fucking science fiction novel that you're writing. Like, I'm not. No. That's bullshit. Like that's full on Dunning-Kruger right there. Agenda 2030. We have a couple of ridiculous, asinine politicians that want to virtue signal about how anti-capitalist they are and how they care about human rights and human health and saving every single life instead of evil people making money. And okay, yeah, we had that, but you're extrapolating that into Agenda 2030 and all this other crazy shit. Like, I can't fuck with that. I can't fuck with this crazy shit. You will die on that hypocrisy stake. Incorrect, motherfucker. Incorrect. I will not die from a vaccine. There is no Agenda 2030 to kill me. Have you considered moving to Connecticut business? No, I have not. I have not. Their property tax is insane. They have no reason to justify their high property taxes or their high property prices. And no, Connecticut. No thanks. No 2% property tax. They can keep their 2% property tax.
Robust.
Looking at buying a new laptop this fall. The new rumored M2 16-inch MacBook has me excited. Any alternate suggestions? Lenovo released a 16-inch laptop, but it's insanely expensive. Admittedly, the M2 might actually have better performance. Source, Dirk Diggler. Source.
Robust.
What the fuck? No, get the fuck out of here with this shit. You're not a doctor. Gargle my balls, you fake doctor. Get out of here. Go. No. I'm not putting that shit on here. No. You're not a fucking doctor. You're a YouTube commenter. No oxides. I am not a doctor. I'm not moderating this shit. No, I'm not. No, we're not doing that here. No fucking oxides. No. If you're saying anything cures COVID with an oxide on the end of it, no. Go see a doctor. For the fuck's sake, go see a doctor. Don't trust people in a fucking YouTube chat with your health. That's a great way to end up in a coffin. Do not put shit into your body because people on YouTube told you to. For the love of God. You offer online lessons for Mac repair. Yes, if you go to youtube.com/Rossmann Group, click playlists, click MacBook component level logic board repairs, you'll see 600 videos that nobody cares to watch. And there is a lot of, I have 600 classes right now and lessons. I have I already have one makerspace here, and I am working with them on a deal, and once that's done, then I will try to use this as a model for others. When you go to CES with a booth on right to repair, I would never go to CES for that. That's horrible. CES is run by CTA, and CTA is where that lobbyist that keeps saying robust at this video, who comes from, who testified against right to repair. Why would I pay my enemies? Why would I pay for a booth from the same people that are lobbying against right to repair? That's insane. When you sit and read Bloomberg all day, everything mainstream is gospel. Yeah, but that's the thing. You're doing the exact thing that you're criticizing me of. You read bullshit all day, and therefore you just believe everything that you read because it's counter what the mainstream media is saying. Contrarianism is not in and of itself proof of a fact. Contrarianism in and of itself is not a political ideology. It's not a philosophy. Just doing the opposite of what the New York Times and Bloomberg say does not make you woke. It's like, okay, they're woke. What do you, like, anti-woke is not, the opposite of woke is not anti-woke. I don't know. Hopefully I'm making sense here. The opposite of what you read in the New York Times and Bloomberg is not true just because you don't like them. Like, all people are doing is they're seeing ideological possession on this side, so they're just inversing it to be reactionary and assuming that they're well-informed. And that's not the case. You're not well-informed just because you think or say or do the opposite of everything you read on CNN or the New York Times or Bloomberg. You're not. You're just doing the exact thing that the people who read those outlets do in reverse. Lewis kicking back, making money, doing nothing. Incorrect. I'm yelling at my computer screen.
Robust.
Yelling at my computer screen is hard work, and I actually need to hydrate myself for that. I work for Texas Instruments. Let me know what you need. CD3217, please. You know my address. It's on my website, rossmanngroup.com, and I would highly suggest that you not send me them, because that would be immoral and wrong.
Robust.
What's Yuwu? You cute though? Yuwu. Also, Alexander is a man's name, so I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. We keep it moving. No, the taste of New York City tap water is fine. I have great tap water. It's the tap water in Orlando, Florida that was horrible. The shower in Orlando, Florida smelled horrible in every hotel that I've stayed at. I don't know how they deal with their tap water down there. Love Florida. Can't stand the Orlando tap water. But I'm still waiting for someone in the U.S. to claim eating Cheetos cures some sort of disease. I know it's coming. Probably.
We just got 160 pounds of cat litter.
Erica just got 160 pounds of cat litter. Would it be worth paying for exposure at CES because people then need exposure to the other side? Fuck no. I would crash CES. I'd be open to crashing CES. I'm not going to fucking pay my enemy. Why would I pay the organization that's lobbying against right to repair for the right to speak to them? No, I'm not doing that. I would love a plan to crash CES. That would be cool. But I would not actually pay for a booth there and fund the people that are funding my opposition. Just saying hi and thank you for keeping it real. Thank you, Stone Biscuit. Ginfidel says chlorine dioxide kills COVID, but it also kills you. I would not expect anything else from a YouTube chat, then.
Robust.
Paper by many doctors proving CDS cures COVID. I have no way of clicking that, and I'm not going to try to type that out here. What is CDS? Oh, for fuck's sake. Hell. You know what? It's probably a good thing that that's not clickable. Let's take a look here.
Robust.
Yeah. Okay, so all the people saying I trust the FDA and the FDA hasn't approved the vaccine are also going to say we don't trust you trust the FDA when they haven't fully approved the vaccine, but you don't trust the FDA when they tell you not to swallow chlorine dioxide. Nah, there's no consistency with you. You have no consistency there.
Robust.
Have you any tools from IUE? I don't, but Chris Long has one and he likes it. They're very hit or miss. Some IUE tools are okay. A lot of them that I've tried were complete and utter trash and garbage. The only piece of kit from IUE that has not been a piece of shit that I know of is the hot air station Chris Long uses. I've also heard Rob Schneider does not cause cancer. Something about him being a stapler also, but then again, this is the misinformation age. Here's the thing. So people say, listen, I would love the vaccine if it was FDA approved. So you listen to the FDA, right? You care about what the FDA says, right? Okay, cool. The FDA tells you not to fucking swallow chlorine dioxide. Oh no, the FDA is part of the conspiracy. I can't deal with the FDA. That's a conspiracy. I thought you were waiting for them to approve the vaccine before you take it. Exactly. There's no fucking consistency with you people. You look for information that reinforces your pre-existing belief system. And that's the exact opposite of science. Science is, here's my preconception. I'm going to actively work and look for evidence that disproves my misconception. And what most people are doing is they're just looking for information that suits their pre-existing biases. I don't like this politician because he's a dumbass. Oh, this politician thinks COVID is a serious issue. Okay, let me look for somebody who doesn't think COVID is a serious issue. Oh, this person says you should take a vaccine. Let me look for someone who says that I shouldn't take a vaccine. Let me find a reason why. Like, you're doing the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, if anything, have your hypothesis and see if you could prove it wrong. See if you could take your preconceived notion and disprove it. Look for evidence that's contrary to what you already believe. There's too much confirmation bias here. Oh, man.
Robust.
100% of humans who have consumed this have died. Obviously a joke, I hope. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. Cheap tools make rework a pain in the ass. Well, it depends. Some cheap tools are good, some are not. But IOE I just have not had enough good experience with. Stop spamming. Okay, no spamming.
Robust.
Now you can yell that I censor. Big tech censorship. No copying and pasting. Copying and pasting is annoying. It's already hard enough to read this fucking chat and keep up with it. I like Regal's DS1102. The Regal DS1102, but I very rarely, if ever, need to use an oscilloscope, honestly. I only got it so that I can make illustrations for a class. Alright, I'm out of here. This was fun. This is a perfect time to end the stream. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.